Sweet. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's so great to have you here. I am Sherry Shojai. I am the founder of Our Class. And let's see, Our Class essentially provides workshops for students like you all to develop your kind of career readiness skills. So if you would like, please follow Our Class at Our Class with 4 underscores. To learn more. We're going to be doing a longer version of this workshop for you all in the future. So please tap in at Our Class with 4 underscores so that you can stay updated and learn more about what we're going to be doing with you all in the future. Please do not talk yourself out of asking a question. Generally in life, do not talk yourself out of asking a question. It goes a long ways. Please put your questions in the chat. We may or may not get to all of them, but we will try our best because even the genius asks his questions. By Tupac Shakur said that. And it is really critical as you move kind of through your figuring out what your interests are, what your skills are, what you're curious about, what you want to do, to continue to ask questions. One of the most critical things you could do for yourself in life. So just before we kind of really get into some of the nitty gritty, I wanted to set the context for you all because you all are living in one of the best states in the world. And I know obviously I may be a little biased, but besides the weather, the beautiful sunshine, the cool things to do, we are really lucky that we live in California because and especially during this time, because we are in the middle of an actual gold rush. So if you all learned about the gold rush in school, essentially it was when all this gold was discovered in California and people migrated in the hundreds of thousands to California to be able to discover this gold. Now, the internet and the tech boom that's happening in California is our generation's gold rush. So Silicon Valley, which is up in the Bay Area, they have all the big, tech companies that reside there. And then Silicon Beach, which is right in Santa Monica, Venice Beach area. There's a bunch of other tech companies, small businesses, different types of, companies that you all can access to that's literally right in your backyard. And you don't have to necessarily be close to these in terms of physical location, but you have access to these opportunities if you choose to really take advantage of them. California is also the 5th largest economy in the world. So we have so many different types of businesses and opportunities in our state. We also have the largest community college system in the nation, which means that you can continue to develop your skills, get different certifications, and access education for a relatively reasonable price. We are also a bigger population than the whole country of Canada. So really kind of remember that as you're pursuing your career or college endeavors, that you have so many opportunities in this state for you. And it's really up to you to utilize these opportunities. So one thing we want to talk about today was really using social media and how you can use it, different types of social media. You can apply this to any types of social media to get opportunities. And what I want to be super, super clear about is that you do not need thousands, hundreds of thousands of likes or followers or anything like that to have opportunities. The amount of likes you have do not equal the amount of opportunities that you have. There are people that have hundreds of thousands of followers and aren't making or getting any opportunities from those followers. There are also people that have a very small following, 100, 200, 300 people, and are getting tons of opportunities from these people. And that is because they are focusing on their niche. And what your niche is a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. So if you think about it, it's really your tribe, your community, the things that you're interested in. And it can often be 2 unlike things that come together that form your niche. You're going to be evolving, you're going to be learning what your niche is, you're going to be discovering what your niche is. But as you kind of go through this, focus and narrow more and more in on what your potential niche is. The more you're able to narrow, the more you're able to connect with the types of people that you want to connect with, get the types of opportunities that you want to get the interests that align with your interests. So as you kind of go through, these social media spaces, focus on not, getting likes and follows and retweets and all that. It's focusing on finding your community, finding your niche, finding the people that align with your interests, and being able to leverage those in a meaningful way. So an example of me and my niche is I'm in education. I do workshops for students. So here's a picture of me at a college providing a workshop. But I'm also a hip hop head. I've always loved hip hop, really been into hip hop. This is Nipsey Hussle, passed away a few years ago, an LA artist. But the two things that I didn't realize is that, if you look up education, you look up the hashtags of education, there are millions and millions and millions of posts. If you look up hip hop, there are millions and millions and millions of posts. But if you bring education and hip hop together, that niche of education and hip hop together is a smaller community. It's people I can actually connect with. It's people I can actually build opportunities, provide opportunities for. And so if you look up the hashtag education, again, you're going to get millions of posts. But if you look up hashtag hip hop ed, it's a lot less posts. If you look up the hashtag teach for the culture, a lot less posts. So when I post something, I use these hashtags because I'm aware that it narrows my community and I'm able to connect with the types of people that I want to connect with that can provide me opportunities in the future. One of the most important things to do as you kind of move through these social media spaces and you are developing your interests and you're developing your skills and your portfolio and all that is showing people what you do, not telling them what you do. And that's because projects and portfolios are the new resume. So if you have a project that you worked on in school, you could take that and you can refine it and develop it and really make it your own and put it in your portfolio or link it in your resume. If you've worked on something on the side, if a photographer, if you're a videographer, if you do digital media, if you're a biologist or chemistry or doing hair, anything that you're interested in, you can show people what you do via documenting the process, getting a tripod and setting up your phone and taking pictures of the process, really highlighting it via different different projects and portfolios, and you can link it in your resume. You can also utilize letters of recommendation. The folks that you see every day, the teachers, the counselors, the administrators, the people that you're going to see in college or in your career. If you really build these networks and you make a connection with these people, you can ask them for letters of recommendation and you can link those letter of recommendations when you reach out to folks. Refine projects. Again, if you had a project that you worked on in school and you want to build off of it, you can make that a refined project and refer back to it. Blogs, videos, pictures, these are all ways that you could show people what you are doing. Another way to really connect with people is networking. I have always been anxious about networking. I was not a fan of it. I didn't feel comfortable in networking situations. And networking really, essentially, I realized it's not me trying to prove myself. It's not me trying to pose. It's not me trying to impress. Networking is really a process of discovery. It's that somebody has information that you do not know, and you are there to learn from them. That means you can ask them questions, you can let them talk, and you can be an active listener in that process. So networking is really a process of discovery where you want to learn from somebody and you have access, readily available access to them. So horizontal networking is really networking with people. If you think of horizontal, it's networking with people in your peer group, networking with people that you have access to regularly, networking with people that you see regularly. A lot of people think of networking like networking vertically, networking up, and that's just networking with, the VPs or the CEOs or the big honchos or whatever it may be. But networking, horizontal networking is really powerful because you can network with the people in your peer group. So for myself, as people that I met 10 years ago in college or people that I met 15 years ago in different career spaces, I'm able to leverage those networks now to provide myself opportunities and also them opportunities. So you just never know where your peer group, where it could take you. So be mindful of who you're hanging out with and who you're sharing your time with. It's super, super critical. And it's essentially the exchange of information, again, with people that are more accessible for you within your peer group. You think about just horizontal networking. So your board of directors is a little bit different. Your board of directors are people that you don't have access to regularly. You can still learn from these people. You can kind of build your board of directors as you go through life and you're developing your skills and your knowledge and your interests. You don't have to have your board of directors all figured out, but these are experts in their field, and these are the people that you tap into when you need insight, information, knowledge about a specific thing. Again, you don't necessarily have access to them, but you can still learn from them because obviously we have access to information from them. So the people that sit on my board of directors is J. Cole. J. Cole's a huge inspiration of mine. I've been a fan of his for like 10, 15 years now. And I go to him for inspiration. Obviously listen to his music, but I also watch his interviews. I watch his different documentaries, and, he talks about books that he reads and things that he's interested in. That leads me to different books. That leads me to also different kind of rabbit holes, if you will. And I find new inspiration from there. Another person that's on my board of directors is Gloria Ladson Billings. She is an educator. She's written books. She's done interviews. She's done different things that I can tap into and learn from her and develop my own skills. You don't necessarily have to rely on just the education you're receiving from school to be educated. So I really tap into her and the resources she provides to develop my knowledge about education. Another person is Tim Ferriss, and he talks a lot about life hacks and health hacks and wealth hacks. And he interviews people. He has a podcast, and he interviews people from all different types of walks of life. And he asks them about tools, hacks, routines, things that they've done to be successful. Really, really great podcast. I would highly recommend it. He just from cryptocurrency to acting to digital media to health to fitness to anything you can imagine, he talks about. And so he's another person that's on my board of directors. All of these people you can access via social media and also via things like LinkedIn. You don't need to have a whole entire career to establish yourself on LinkedIn. You can still be a student and just put student on LinkedIn and develop your LinkedIn as you go on. But LinkedIn it's a search engine. Just like Google is a search engine, LinkedIn is a search engine. So you can go on there and search skills. You can search companies, you can search organizations, you can search events, and you can start following those things so you're up to date on the different things happening in your interest area. It's also a great way to learn about a company if you're interested in them. And it's a really, really great way to tap into different professional types of resources. So many users on there. Again, you can even use those hashtags that I mentioned earlier, those types of hashtags when you are searching on LinkedIn. One thing I want to say about networking, and as you all continue to navigate networking spaces, is maintain the connection with people. Maintain the connection with people that you've connected with in high school. Maintain the connection with myself. I provided you guys my social media. I'll drop it again. It's at Our Class with 4 underscores. Maintain the connection with me. You just don't know who I may know that I could connect you to. And don't just reach out to those folks when you want something from them. Really develop that relationship, maintain that connection, nurture it. And then when you do want something, then it doesn't seem like you're just using that person. You're really going to them because you have that connection with that person. And then also continue to reach out to them and let them know what you're doing, because you're planting that seed in their mind. So if an opportunity arises, they're going to think of you when that opportunity arises. So if anybody who's going to college, utilize office hours in your college. Those are so incredibly underutilized, and you can really make connections with professors and with different folks on campus. You don't have to blow their minds. You don't have to say anything impressive. Just come with 1 or 2 questions and they will talk. And really that connection can take you a long way in terms of letters of recommendation, connecting you to job opportunities, connecting you to different grants or, financial aid opportunities. So maintain those connections. And as we kind of come to a close, I want to remind you all, and this is something that this quote really impacted me. I really kind of struggled with the career space and networking and all that stuff. And I realized that life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. And that's that everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. Once you truly internalize this, you have access to all the tools that you can imagine right here. And once you really internalize that you can build things, you can influence this world, you'll never be the same again. So please, please, please keep your eye out for our future workshops. Your district is going to be providing you with information about our future workshops. Follow us on Our Class with 4 underscores to learn more about the work that we are doing. Via these workshops that we're providing, we're going to be giving out our handbooks with a lot more information, getting deeper into some of this stuff. A t-shirt. I just like to show the design process of the t-shirt. This is another t-shirt that we designed. So we'll be giving out t-shirts, raffle prizes, handbooks. It'll be a whole vibe. But yeah, don't forget to follow us and to really utilize these networks that you're developing today and in the future. So I will stop there and open it up for questions.
Down at the bottom, there is a Q&A session. If you a tab you can click on to type a question. We have a couple minutes left until it's time to go to the exhibit hall, so please type up some questions.
Don't be shy, y'all. How did you figure out your hip hop education niche? Well, honestly, I kind of stumbled on it. I mean, I always knew I was into education. I knew I wasn't, obviously an educator. I loved hip hop. I've loved hip hop since high school. So or middle school. So about almost 25 years. I've been really into hip hop. And then one day I was like, it would be really cool if somebody like brought hip hop into the education spaces. So I Googled hip hop and education and I found this whole community of people doing this work. I found books, I found podcasts, I found people to follow on Instagram. And I was like, whoa, this is my niche. Really it just takes you being curious, and your niche may evolve as you develop your interests and all that. So don't be too afraid to find it, and don't be too stuck to it too. You can evolve it as you develop. What influenced you the most? Being curious, reading, watching podcasts, meditating, developing myself, realizing nobody is going to save me. I have to save myself, whatever saving means, but it is my future is in my own hands. There's no teachers are great, counselors are great, all these people are great, but it is up to you and you have it in you. It's really up to you to discover what it is that you like to do, find your interests. I always say nobody's going to pay my bills. So it's up to me to be happy with what I'm doing and to really seek it out for myself. How can you build on your niches? Connect with people, find people, slide in those DMs respectfully, comment on people's things, reach out to them, ask them about book recommendations, read the book, and then follow up. When people put in that work, that true work, people see it, right? Because it's so easy. You just go in somebody's DM and say, hey, what's up? Whatever, I'm interested in this. But it's a lot harder to be like, can you recommend a book? Then go read that book and then follow up with that person, say, I read that book and I'm really appreciative that you recommended that. That shows effort. That shows that you're being curious. So I would say continue to be curious. What is the best way to find connections? Again, being curious, looking on LinkedIn, looking on social media, looking at things that you're interested in, being okay with failing. It's okay to fail. It's part of life. failure is, I know they say failure is not an option. It is an option. It's going to happen, but it's all good. It's part of the growth process. If you're not failing, you are not growing. How do we figure out our niche in our social media apps? Search for it, find different hashtags. Those rabbit hole of social media could really take you to different places. Continue to find people that you like and you respect and admire, and then follow people that they're following, or look at the organizations that they're following and look into those. Really be curious about what your niche is and what you want to pursue. How do you know when you found your niche? It's a constantly evolving process. You continue to find it, change it, being okay that it's going to change. It is something that all your life you're going to be looking for that, and it's going to evolve, but being okay with the fact that this is a process and you just continue have to be curious. How do I find my niche? It seems like a lot of folks are asking that. Continue to be curious. I know I keep saying that, but it just gets you so far, and to ask questions. Brainstorm things that you're interested in, brainstorm things that you're passionate about, brainstorm things that you would do without getting paid for or without getting a grade for. I would listen to hip hop all the time. I love education. I didn't quite realize that there was a mesh there until I became really curious about it. How does Meg Thee Stallion influence you? She went to college. She personally, I love what she's doing. I think she's remarkable. I think it's great that there's females in the hip hop space. I haven't, to be fully honest, I haven't gone too deep into her music, but I really appreciate that she is a businesswoman. She is thinking about the business aspect of what she is doing. She's not just thinking about what she's doing in terms of her music career. She knows that can change, but she is focusing on her other skills because she went to college, which is really great. How did your obstacles shape you into who you are now? And what did you do to overcome that? Obstacles are everything. It builds that muscle, it builds that strength, it builds that resilience. I've been through a lot of stuff. As a kid, I went through a lot of trauma. I had to see a lot of violence in my household, and that really shaped who I am because it allowed me to be more empathetic for other people, but it also allowed me to recognize I don't want that for my life. I could break those cycles that were in my family. I can change what my life is going to be. I could go this route and continue the cycle, or I can change that. And I decided to change it for myself. But you have to be aware of it. And you have to understand that these struggles are really what make you into a better person and build your character. What should we do to avoid personal branding? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have told you this, but don't put stuff out there that you're not proud of. Be mindful of what you're putting out there. Be mindful of who's going to consume your information. Obviously be yourself, but if you're going to have a social media presence that you want to, be proud of and that certain people are going to look at, and be mindful of maybe creating 2 different accounts, one that's super personal and you have it on private, and then one that's for your professional personal branding. Another thing I think you should avoid is don't do things for the sake of the likes and the follows. That's not sustainable, and it doesn't get you to your community and your niche. Add value to people's lives. Understand that you have something to bring, that you have something to give to folks, and take it seriously. And then look at what you're putting out there and be like, would I like this? Would I want to consume this? Would I scroll past this, or would I be interested in this? And another thing I would say is don't do things for the hype. Do things because they interest you, they align with what you're trying to do, and keep your focus on that niche and that community. I think we're over time.
We are over time. If students want to, they are dismissed to go back to the exit hall and browse the booths. If there's any last questions, I think we'll take them, but you are dismissed to the exit hall if you would like to go to that part of the conference.
Thank you all. I appreciate you. Keep your eye out for future events and have a beautiful day. Thank you.